Hi everyone, welcome to Chef Mooney, coming to you from Mooney's Kitchen. Well, today's recipe, I'm going to make a beautiful crumbed pork schnitzel. Come on guys, let's get cooking. Now I've got some nice pork fillet here from the butcher. I'm just going to remove that membrane, that thin layer of skin on the top. Now if you're not confident doing this, just ask your butcher if he wouldn't mind removing that for you, and I'm sure they will. Now I want to cut this into like a butterfly. It's called butterflying. We're going to cut 3/4 down, not all the way through, and then go over about an inch apart. So 1 inch there, then you make a cut, then another inch, and then cut it all the way through, like that. And then it butterflies out like that. All right. And we want to repeat the process. So around about an inch, cut down to 3/4, go over to another inch. Okay, onto a piece of greaseproof paper. I'm going to flatten it out a little bit, and then this is actually baking paper. So you basically want it in the center like that, and then fold over your paper. And with a rolling pin, if you've got a meat mallet, you can use that. I'm going to use a rolling pin because I can't find my meat hammer. And you just want to bash it out so it's a sort of an even consistency. So when it's cooking, it's going to cook evenly. So there we go, that's the first one done. You don't have to bash it out too hard because the meat's quite delicate. Pop it onto a plate and repeat the process with the rest of the meat. So there you go, so out of that loin of pork, you've got 5 fairly decent sized schnitzels. So it'll feed 5 people. All right, so what I'm gonna do with this now is I'm going to cover it with that paper that we bashed it out. I'm just gonna pop it in the fridge, and we're going to get the breadcrumbs ready. Okay, so I'm going to break up some bread. I think we're probably going to need about 1.5 pieces per schnitzel. So just pop it into a blender with a sprig of fresh parsley. If you're using this method, it's not the ideal way, but it does get the job done. You have to do it in very, very small batches, about half a slice at a time, otherwise it just clogs up. Okay, so that's all good. Just mix it in. I'm going to grate in some lemon zest because I'm going to make a caper sauce with this. It smells lovely and fresh and lemony. Okay, I'm going to make a really simple, very quick egg wash. I need 2 eggs, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper. Give it a mix around. And over the back here, I've got just some plain flour. I'm going to season that with some salt and just a little bit of pepper. Get our first beautiful pork and just dust it in the flour. Make sure it's all coated, and then just tap off the excess flour into the egg wash, like so. And then you want to just remove most of the excess egg wash there so you don't get a big blobby mess, and then straight into the breadcrumbs using your dry hand that's not wet. Gently pat it down. Now I'm going to shallow fry this. You can deep fry them, they come up really lovely, but I'm going to shallow fry it. So you want a good covering of oil, and I'm using vegetable oil. And we're just going to heat this up gently. So I've probably got, I would say about 1 cup of oil in there. Alright, so you don't want the oil hot, super hot and smoking, but just throw a little breadcrumb in there. You can see it starting to sizzle, so you don't want to have it too hot. We're going to put the schnitzel in. Now when you're putting schnitzels or anything or chicken into hot oil, always put the tail end down first and then away from you. Just let it fall away from you. That way it's not going to splatter up against you. Leave that there. You can see it's sizzling nicely now. And again with this one on that side there. There we go. Now let them form a bit of a crust. Don't start to turn them just yet. But I am going to reduce the heat down now, just slightly. Now over the back here I've got a rack with a tray underneath to catch any of the drips of oil. You have a look there. I've just got a rack there, so I'm going to put them onto that and then or you can use some kitchen paper or some kitchen towel. I just want to give it a gentle lift from the bottom, and I reckon they're about ready to flip over. Okay, it's time to turn them. And that smell of lemon is coming through now. They really smell delicious. Okay, so these two are about ready now. I'm going to take them off and just let them rest on that rack there. And they smell fabulous. Golden brown with that crunchy, lovely crunchy outside coating on both sides. Okay, so what I've got here, I've got a little bit of butter, a knob of butter. I've got some, about a quarter of an onion, which I've finely diced. I've got some, about a tablespoon of parsley and 2 tablespoons of capers. And I've just tossed them all into the hot butter. I'm gonna just sprinkle a little bit of flour in there and just let that cook out a little bit. I'm gonna deglaze the pan, just a touch of white wine. Two tablespoons of double cream and a tablespoon of creme fraiche. Definitely needs a little bit of salt, although the capers are quite salty, be careful. Touch more pepper, and to give it that little lift, I'm just going to squeeze some lemon juice in there, just half of a small lemon, and your sauce is ready to go. It's now time to plate up. So there it is, a beautiful crumbed pork schnitzel, lemon caper sauce. Got a bit of white wine through there too. Squeeze a bit more lemon on if you want to. The flavors are really, really, really good. Thanks again for watching Mooney's Kitchen. I hope you give that recipe a try. Don't forget to share it on your social media. Now click the video above if you want to see last week's video, and until next time, take care.